I think my practical tips would be to think about what plants might have been there before, like I said, that you could plant, because they'll have a connection to the land and to the dirt. You can also experiment with different crops that came from like maize, but don't be afraid to ask local people who've grown gardens to what works in this climate, what doesn't really grow here. And when you go to plant, this is what I always forget, when you first go to plant, you don't fill up the land. So don't try to fill up your garden right when you plant so it looks really, really full. You can leave spaces of dirt open because the plants will grow really big and they need that space. They also need their own space to eat. So even when you're doing companion gardening where you grow different things close together, you still don't fill you don't fill it so you can see more seeds than dirt. Or if you're planting plants that are already kind of grown a little bit, sometimes you can buy flowers that have already grown a little bit or other plants, still give them the space they need to eat is really important. So if it looks a little empty, that's okay. Right when you plant, that's okay. But paying attention, and also don't put tons of seeds. The first time I planted, I thought, ooh, just to make sure this grows, I'm gonna put like 50 seeds in one little spot. But just a few, because then they actually might compete with each other and not grow because none of them had food. So just a few, and the backs of seed packets will tell you a lot of information that your teachers can help you with, about how much sunlight it needs, about when you should plant, how many you should plant, and how deep. So the gardener's kind of secret tool is a ruler. So, because it'll tell you this seed needs to be this deep in the ground, this seed needs to be this deep in the ground. So, or a stick. So you could all have little sticks that you put little marks on so you know how deep it is. You can just look at that. And when you put dirt back on top of seeds, you don't have to press it really hard and put tons of it and push. You can just lightly cover it with as much dirt. You don't have to press down, because then you're probably pushing it deeper or putting a lot for it to compete. That would be my tips from the things that I've done wrong, except one more: tomatoes. We got to talk about tomatoes, because tomatoes are really hard to grow if you water them too much. So if you're growing tomatoes, you water them the same time every day and not too much, because tomatoes can get rotten bottoms and they look brown at the bottom. That doesn't mean they're sick, just means they were watered too much. So you can still eat the part, that's fine. It's not going to be bad or poisonous, but tomatoes, think it's a good idea, but you got to pay attention to how much you water them.